We got 2 weeks left till my son's first birthday party, and we have a lot to do on my list. Now, after completing the backdrop, I wanted to continue with the woodwork and create a little year album for Leo. Now, I've seen a bunch of these on Pinterest where they show every single month progression all the way up until 1 year, and I thought they were super cute. And although the price does seem fair, I wanted to do it myself. I also wanted to customize it to the party so it can stick with the theme, which is one happy dude, smiley faces all over. So I grabbed myself a piece of wood and started working. So I'm starting off with a nice piece of wood, and the first thing that I need to do is figure out what size I'm going to be printing Leo's photos and how big this thing is actually going to be. So I want people to be able to see the pictures. So my photos are going to be 5x7, and I just roughly laid this out. I created an arch for this to stick with the round theme, and then I sanded this bad boy so many times. So I decided that I wanted to keep this a little bit more on the natural side. We're not going to paint over this wood. I want to really highlight the wood and incorporate it into the design. So that is why I'm sanding it and taking a lot of time on the prep work. Once I had it cut and sanded all down, it was time to stain the wood. I did 2 coats of stain, and I probably could have gone a little bit darker, but I didn't want to overdo it with the stain. And once that stain was dry, I needed to prep the wood since I was going to be painting a little bit on it. And so I went in with clear gesso and coated it twice, sanded it in between, and got this bad boy ready to paint. I wanted to bring a little bit of yellow into this since we have the yellow arches going on, and instead of doing really precise lines and making sure the arches of the yellow are perfect, I wanted to go a little bit freehand with this. Plus, I didn't want to spend so much time being very meticulous about it, so I got a few shades of yellow acrylic paint and just painted on little squigglies, remembering that my photos were going to be in the center, so I was kind of trying to keep the squiggly lines around the edges because it didn't really make sense for me to do anything in the middle. I did 3 coats of yellow and then decided it would be really cool to incorporate smiley faces into this, so I went back to my handy dandy Cricut and got some white vinyl and cut out some white smiley face outlines for this. And then once the paint was dry, I just placed them on top. This was pretty easy and simple to do. And originally I was just going to print out on the Cricut the text that's going to be on the top that says Leo's first year. And I decided to get a little creative here and try something I've never done before. So I got some balsa wood and a new blade for my Cricut and had it cut some balsa wood for me. And it was a disaster. There was a learning curve to this, and I really wanted some of the text to have a shadow to it. That's the reason why I did it. I just wanted it to stand out. So this whole process was a pain in my behind. Since the Cricut would do multiple passes, it would cut it crooked on like the second or third. So I ended up having to stop it halfway through and just use my X-Acto knife to get the rest of the cut for the balsa wood. And this stuff is so thin and lightweight. I'll probably not be working with this in the future. And I tried cutting out the months as well, but it was way too small and way too complicated. So I just decided to do that with the Cricut. With the vinyl instead of the balsa wood. So once I had that balsa wood cut, I put a clear coat of gesso on it just to prep it, and then took it outside and spray painted it black because I was over it already. I just wanted to be done with this. This whole thing was a process. It took multiple days to do just because I had to have time in between to let, the stain dry, the gesso, the paint, and it's been pretty gloomy here in Los Angeles, so the temperature wasn't optimal for staining or painting. It was definitely a process. It was a labor of love, but in between everything, I was going through all of Leo's photos and choosing my favorite ones, and it was just such a trip to see his photos, his progress photos. I haven't looked at all of them at once like this. So from 1 month all the way to 11 months. And it was just so amazing to see the growth and how much his face has changed and how he's just turning into into a little boy. I can't believe it. My baby. He's gonna be my forever baby. But I seriously had such a good time looking through all of these photos because it feels like a lifetime ago. But it also, at the same time, has gone by so fast. It's really hard to explain, but I chose all of the photos with my hubby, and luckily he was able to help me and edit all of the photos, adjust all the colors so they look really good together. And we printed them out and laid them out on the piece of wood, and that was the moment where I saw all of them laid out, where I just literally, I can't believe he's turning 1. Life is crazy. This was so rewarding to put together and to see. And I think putting this together just really hit me and made me realize like my baby is turning 1. And I'm really happy that hubby and I stuck to it and taking these monthly photos, because I remember it was a struggle to remember to do it every single time. But I'm so happy we did. It looks so cute together. And now all that's left to do is just glue on the text for the wood and then place on the Cricut months and then take the final photo for his 12 months. I'm really happy with the way that this turned out, and I feel like I probably made it a little more difficult than it needed to be, but I can appreciate the labor that goes into this product. So this project definitely was one of the ones where I was thinking, what am I doing? I should have just bought this. But we're going to display this on our wall, and I might decorate with balloons depending if I have time. I don't know. I love the way it came out. And I feel like this is a piece that we can display somewhere either in Leo's playroom or in his room, because he will absolutely love it when he gets older. Another item that I've seen on Etsy that are really popular are the little garlands that you put around the baby's high chair on their birthday, and then you take photos and it looks super cute. They have a ton of different designs, and obviously gotta do one happy dude. I did see some available to buy on Etsy, but they were literally just like you print it at home and it was digital. You could buy a physical one, but we gotta customize it ourselves. So the first thing I needed to do was figure out what design I wanted to go with, and I really wanted to stick with circle themes for the smiley face, the N and the E. I went in Photoshop and designed it, figured out what text I wanted, what size everything was gonna be, and then I just printed out the circles on cardstock and used those as a template. So I knew I wanted to incorporate a sort of checkered design into this as an outline, and I thought that it would be really cool to do with the Cricut, just cut out with black vinyl, and then the white from the paper can just show through. And I did an actual checkered design, but that didn't quite look right, so we kind of cheated it a little bit and just did a variation of black and white. I placed this on a cardstock paper, and that was my first layer. Then I cut out another piece of white cardstock to place on top of that, and I glued it down. That was what my letters were gonna go on top of, and my smiley face. So for the smiley face, I just used yellow vinyl to cut out a circle in the size that I needed. And, you know, I wanted to do something a little different here. Instead of using vinyl, I wanted to have black shiny paper incorporated into this. So we're using black shiny cardstock. And I didn't realize that the Cricut could actually cut this, but I did all of this by hand. And I went in with an X-Acto knife and cut out the eyes, the smile, and the outline for the smiley. And I also cut out the N and the E by hand. Again, I didn't realize I could use the Cricut for this, and if you're going to do this, I would recommend doing that because it took a hot minute and your girl's hand was a little sore from the blade. But once I had glued all the layers on top, I was so happy with how it was coming out. So then I punched holes in the top of every single card, put some ribbon through it, and now I just had to put on the final decor pieces, and I needed to hang it from the high chair in order to see how it was gonna look. So I figured out how to adhese it to the high chair, and I'm just using command strips with a really good sticky backing. It's not the command strip one. It was something my husband had because nothing else would stick to this plastic. So once I had it hanging, then I just went in with different types of ribbon and just tied them on to the garland. So I had a bunch of yellow, black, and white ribbon. I also had this white tassel garland that is actually in our store, iscupquake.com. It's a DIY kit. You can make your own tassel and it comes in a bunch of different colors. And so I just grabbed the white from that and added that to the garland, and I really love how full it makes it look, and it also has some iridescent going on in there, so it really adds some fun textures. It looks super amazing. And then on top of that, I placed a bunch of different colored ribbon, and this is what it looks like. I am so happy with how it came out, and I feel like this definitely was worth making because we're gonna take so many photos of Leo in his high chair, even with his smash cake, and I just wanted something so unique, and I am just very happy with how it came out. I can't wait to photograph this with Leo, my one happy dude. Seriously, this came out so cute, and I hope it's a nice sunny day so that this glitter paper sparkles in the sun. So the last item that I wanted to tackle this week were the goodie bags for the kids. And you know, I saw on Amazon there are simple little bags that you can just arrange, and I thought about putting cute little smiley face stickers on them, but we needed to be a little extra. I thought it would be really cute to make mini pinatas for everyone because, you know, I can't have my son have a birthday party without a pinata. Excuse me. I mean, he's 1 year old, and a lot of the kids who are coming are babies and wouldn't even know how to swing a bat for the piñata. So instead, I decided to make everyone their own individual piñata that is like a mini smiley face piñata that you can pull a string at the bottom, make it super simple for kids. And I thought I could use it as decor for the party as well. It's a win-win. So since I had ordered a bunch of stuff for the party, I had a plethora of boxes. So I decided to put them to use and reuse them. And I just got a little circle lid from one of my jars and used this as a template for my circle. And I decided to make the bottoms of these flat so they can sit nicely when they're being displayed. And so once I had 2 round pieces of cardboard, I just cut out a strip that was about 3 inches long and taped it all the way around the edge. I left the bottom open since we have to stuff these, and I need to figure out what's actually going inside and how big I need to make it. So we're gonna tackle that later. And then I ordered a couple yellow tissue garlands, and I used Elmer's non-toxic glue to glue some of the yellow pieces onto the little half smiley face. I use my finger to smudge the glue because if you leave it goopy, the tissue is really thin and it'll probably end up breaking or being see-through. So once I had the edges done, I went ahead and started making a piñata. And this is my first time making a piñata, and I can appreciate it. It's an art. I started off by folding the tissue and then cutting little slits in it. And then when you open it up, all you gotta do is just measure out what area you need to cover, grab a little bit of glue and place it on top, starting from the bottom and working your way up. And then for the edges, I just cut off the excess tissue and use the same process for the edge of the circle. And for the final touches, to make this an actual smiley face, I went back to my handy dandy Cricut and got some black vinyl and measured out the size that I would need and cut out the eyes and mouths and just placed them on by hand and kind of just eyeballed it. But once I put those faces on, they look so adorable. And for the bottom, I grabbed a couple more cardboard pieces and left an opening from my biggest item that I'm putting inside. And then I just hot glued that onto the bottom, grabbed another piece of cardboard that fit into that nicely, and then grabbed some cardstock and cut little triangles, glued those onto the cardboard so that it makes it a little difficult to pull out, but it's still doable, and this is gonna fit right inside. And then I made some holes in that and put some string through and made it able to be pulled. All that was left to do is fill these up with some goodies. And I tried to get toys that both Leo would enjoy and kids that are a little bit older. We got some Slinkies, this little Pop-It toy, put some bubbles inside. You know, was just trying to figure out what I would like if I was a kid. And that completes our little goodie bags for our guests. I know that these are a little extra, but if I was a child and I went to a party and got my very own smiley face piñata, I would keep that and put it in my room. So I hope everyone loves and cherishes their little piñatas. I also made an extra one for Leo because I want to put one in his room. And also shout out to my mama for helping me make these. I definitely did not make these alone. It would have been a lot of work for me to do by myself. So my mom, you're amazing. Thank you for helping me with these. They are so cute and they're gonna double as decorations. Now we're getting down to the wire and I am definitely feeling the pressure and like I might have bitten off a little more than I can chew. When I say I've been spending every moment of my free time working on this party, I literally have been spending every free moment that I can get on this party. And I just saw the forecast and it might actually rain. So we don't know what's gonna happen. We're just gonna roll with it. Hopefully it is a nice, beautiful sunny day, but I still have a lot on my plate. So I hope we can pull it all off.